consistent, very typical of his practice.
For the production of Macbeth here at the Folger Theatre, we had a scholarly team of 9. They represented Shakespeare studies, theatre history, and musicology. So we had a balance of discipline.
And then that fails and kind of collapses as it does in Macbeth.
We wanted to learn what were the demands that Restoration Shakespeare makes upon actors, upon singers, and upon instrumentalists. The question the project asks is, can Restoration Shakespeare be interesting, compelling, and viable to audiences today? And that is why we're partnering with you, and you're partnering with us on this production of Davenant's Macbeth. So inevitably, there was a little sense of, do I need permission to speak? Am I really authorized to be here?
I really wish they would have spoken a little more. There were several times when people would ask a question and there was a tentativeness. And I think one of the reasons I did this project was to have that collaboration. And I felt like we did have it, and I felt like it got better, and people sort of understood where it was okay to talk and where it wasn't.
Is the monologue for Lady Macbeth.
Robert Richmond, who's the director, really gave us space in the rehearsal room.
I think what that allows is that everybody's invested. That it isn't one person or several people's ideas. It really has come from everybody in the room. And that's allowed us to learn from each other, spark from each other, and go forward in, the best form of collaboration.
For the scholars, they'd all developed their research questions before they came, so they knew that having these interactions with the performers was going to be intellectually valuable to them.
So I was wondering if you could reflect just preliminary reactions to what you heard and some of the challenges, but maybe some of the opportunities that it might present for you.
The performers, by and large, none of them are used to working in this way with scholars. So the onus was upon Richard and I to really articulate why this could be a valuable process.
It's really only going to work effectively if we're all in that same world.
I mean, right off the bat, the whole experience had a different feel to it. Initially, for me, extremely intimidating because I knew that Lady Macbeth is going to be something that they're interested in because it's so new and because it's Davenant's, really, his creation.
What does it feel like to play a new and different and more substantial?
I love her.
But after a couple of days and after just meeting them all, and they were all so lovely and so supportive and so kind of excited and reassuring that they had no expectations. They were just there to watch and learn. So nothing that we did was wrong because it had never been seen before. So then it was very exciting. It was neat to have the interactions and to be able to ask questions as soon as we had them.
It's so much more Greek than now we're talking about sirens and the siren call and them luring us in and keeping us in the dangerous area without even thinking about it. I now actually love the idea of being on stage and being lured by the witch.
I was 100% surprised and delighted in every interaction I've ever had with all the academics and all the scholars. They've just been so gracious, so giving and caring and mindful as we want to be back. It's been, for me, one of the most important pieces I think I've ever done in my life, and in large part due to the fact that we had significant dramaturgs in the room.
It's always important that as scholars we point out these things.
It didn't take long for the actors to want to spend more time with the scholars, formally as well as informally.
I would have loved all of the presentations, even before we started rehearsals, to give us time to process it all and incorporate it in our thinking about how to approach it.
Their passion for it made me want to be better on a daily basis. And then just little dribs and drabs of information that came, I would say that we could have used that resource a little stronger, but we're all learning. And so for the next one, that would be my thing, is that their voice is as valuable as anybody else's in the room, and they need to know that from day one.
I feel like if I were to do another restoration project, it would be great if it was something maybe that wasn't quite as famous as Macbeth, maybe an more obscure play, and really put the scholars' ideas to work as opposed to fit them into something that sort of already exists in everyone's minds. I think that would be fascinating.
I think it's only now that we really begin to realize how layered that process was. There are things that I will recall when I watch the show that, of course, I don't think I really paid very much attention to right there and then, but now I'm like, that makes sense, and I know where that influence came from.
I think that all of the scholars who were on our team here felt tremendously moved to be a part of this process. And all of us now are going to go and write quite extensively about what we've learned, about what it's like, the experience of what it's like for performers to engage with Restoration Shakespeare. They were our experts. They were our informants and collaborators about what it's like. And it's information that we couldn't have gotten any other way.